Welcome to Larry the Alchemist, and on today's episode, 5 bad cover songs. When a band does a good cover song, it can become almost a signature of the band, a staple in their live set. Think Judas Priest with Green Manalishi and Diamonds in Rust. Think Jimi Hendrix with Hey Joe and All Along the Watchtower. But we're going to be focusing on cover songs that for me just don't work. And to rein this in and put some parameters on it, I'm going to be picking just from studio or live, full-length studio or live albums, because I didn't want to do, for instance, tribute albums. A bunch of artists there's like Yngwie Malmsteen and Ronnie James Dio doing Dream On, which it doesn't sound particularly good, but it's just kind of a one-off thing. I'm also not going to do, like, for instance, Iron Maiden. They would release singles, and on the B side, they were famous for having cover songs. And although I think most of those songs work, a lot of other bands do that too, or maybe they do a one-off thing, a cover of a Christmas song or something like that. So I wasn't going to do stuff like that. I wanted to keep it to full-length albums where there's a cover song in there that I think slows the record down, doesn't help the record, shouldn't be on the record, and that I don't like. Okay. Number 5, I don't have anything from this band. They're a death metal band called 6 Feet Under, and the singer used to be in Cannibal Corpse, Chris Barnes. And with Cannibal Corpse, they did a cover of, for instance, Zero the Hero by Black Sabbath that I think is really cool, and I believe that's Chris Barnes on that. And it's tricky with death metal because of the vocals. If you do cover a song that has melodic vocals and you're putting death metal vocals on it, it can often sound silly and almost comical. But sometimes it works, like Cannibal Corpse with Zero the Hero. Death did a cover of Judas Priest Painkiller that I think is really cool. But Cannibal Corpse this is almost like a signature for them, covering like classic rock tunes and doing them in a death metal style. And I don't know if there's more than one of these records. I was scared to look, but there's a record called Graveyard Classics. I think there's more than one of them. But the one that I was looking at here has a bunch of classic rock type covers on it, like TNT by AC/DC, Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. What else is on here? Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix, and it just doesn't work. The recording quality isn't good. The vocals are way too loud, and he's kind of half between growling and trying to sing, and it just doesn't sound good. Blackout by the Scorpions is on here. It's just not good at all. I can't stand to listen to it. It almost sounds like a joke, like somebody pretending to be, death metal voice singing a classic rock tune. So that's an entire album of covers that I just think are horrible, and they really stand out to me. For some reason, you hear a lot of these 6 Feet Under covers played over PA systems when you're waiting for a band to come on, and it almost feels like a joke when you hear it. But okay, number 4 is Twisted Sister from the Come Out to Play album, and the song Leader of the Pack. This song, and maybe the video more specifically, people will point to as being like the demise of Twisted Sister. And I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. And if you read Dee Schneider's very interesting biography, he talks about how that was a song that they played when they were doing the local bar band circuit, which they were huge in. They were a huge bar band playing 5-6 nights a week, sold out crowds everywhere. And this song used to always go over. It was like a big part of their set. And so they decided to put it on this album, and it just doesn't work. The video is cringeworthy, but the song itself, and it comes in, I believe, as the second song on the record, and this isn't the best Twisted Sister record anyways, but I do like this record. But man, does this stick out like a sore thumb. And when there's those background vocals like she did it and all she could do, there's like these background vocals that sound like a bunch of, I don't know, dudes, and it just doesn't work. It sounds so comical and goofy. So that's number 4 for me. All right, number 3 is gonna be from a live album here, Tokyo Tapes from the Scorpions. I absolutely love this album. Haven't done a video on it, I don't think, but they do. What do they? They do Hound Dog and Long Tall Sally on this, and this was kind of popular at this time for bands to do this. Like in the 70s, Queen did like a rock and roll medley. Uriah Heep has a rock and roll medley on here, although this one I can handle a little bit better. But on here, man, just listening to Klaus Meine singing, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. It just doesn't work. But at this time, bands were looking back and paying respects to the classics, I guess. But oh man, I so wish this wasn't on this album and that they had inserted some other song that, maybe one of their own songs that they couldn't get on the album. It just, to me, it just takes up space. It ruins the record. It doesn't ruin the record, but I always skip over it. I just do not like it. So Hound Dog and Long Tall Sally, that's number 3. Number 2 for me is I Ain't Superstitious from Megadeth's Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? Megadeth also sort of made a thing out of this. They did These Boots Are Made for Walking on the first album. They do Anarchy in the UK, although I'm kind of okay with that. But man, oh man, why did they do this? It just... I hate it. I always skip over it. I hate especially when they make it like thrashy, it kind of works. But when they're playing like the bluesy type of thing and the start-stop with the vocals, it's just, I wish they had dropped that off this record. Does not work for me at all. All right, at number 1, and this is kind of a famous bad cover song, but from the Ram It Down album by Judas Priest, Johnny Be Good. And, this one, I had to put that at number 1. Which it's such a shame because, as I mentioned in the introduction, Judas Priest were almost famous for doing great cover songs, taking songs, completely rearranging them. Like if you've never heard the originals of Green Manalishi and Diamonds in Rust, look for them because Priest really reinterpreted those songs and really did something with them. Same with Better By You, Better Than Me, which I believe was a Spooky Tooth song originally. But here, Johnny Be Good, it just totally doesn't work. And they do kind of try to rearrange it, but it just falls so flat for me. It's just the wrong song to do. The production on this record doesn't help matters any. This is already a record I don't really care for, and throwing that on there is just really like bottom of the barrel Judas Priest for me. When I think of Judas Priest at their lowest, I think of them covering Johnny Be Good. And I think it was in a movie or something, so maybe it was on a movie soundtrack and they decided to put it on the album. I don't know. Either way, it was a bad decision. In a movie soundtrack, maybe it would have worked, but here on one of their records, no, it's terrible. I hate it. So, all right, there you go. 5 bad cover songs. Let me know what you guys think of some cover songs that just don't work. You don't have to do it like me where it's on a studio or a full-length studio or live album. If you just want to throw out there some terrible bad covers, I could have made a lot of those because, again, there's bands where they do something for a soundtrack or a tribute record or a Christmas compilation album or something like that, but I wanted to sort of put some parameters on myself. But you guys let me know, what are some of the worst covers you've heard bands do? Let me know in the comments down below. Till we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.